Hello guys, in this video I'm going to do a review of the new Action Army gas blowback pistol that kind of looks like Glock and Ruger had a baby. I got this from Red Wolf. So far I think it's the only place that carries them. I suppose they will be in Europe in a month or so. I won't give too much on the unboxing or the externals. You can find other famous YouTubers doing that. So here we go to what matters. Now this will get out of the box. Of course, menus and whatnot. Menu is in Japanese and English. I suppose the fact this gun is completely plastic, including the thread, which kind of makes the thread useless. I barely use this, and you can see it's still already getting worn out. I wouldn't trust this in a metal suppressor that you frequently remove. But anyways, completely plastic, which does make this legal in the Japanese market, and I suppose that's one of the focus by having a Japanese and English menu. Glock mag, it does work with WE type Glock. Okay, the rubber lip is not the TM curved type. Ambidextrous locking, so I suppose you can reverse this to make it work on both sides. It looks like the same shape. Yes, you just flip it. Outside, it's actually incredibly sturdy. Nothing moves compared to a metal slide. But then again, this is all fixed. Incredibly light return spring, but we go to that later. First of all, one thing I didn't like, you can hear this click, and I didn't fire yet. This is firing. This is due to the safety. It engages even if my finger, unless I put my finger in the very tip, it doesn't press it deep enough for it to retrieve completely, and therefore you hit that part every time you push. After that gets worn out, it gets better. But then again, that's a problem. Not too big, but it bothers you as the first couple hundred rounds. Extremely easy to take down to the basics. You just press this button here, really hard to push, but gets the job done. Remove it. As I said, one advantage of the plastic slide is you can count on the flexibility of the material, which makes it very solid. If you're on metal, you have to make sure it fits and not too tight. You probably can't make this thing click in place. Lower, it's you can, if you are familiar with Glocks, you can see this pin is also here. So the internals look like completely the pieces, at least I'm pretty sure is just they grab the Glock internal somewhere. They are not steel. I use a magnet. They are just cast, probably zinc alloy. But it's nice. The chassis itself is actually metal. The grip being plastic. Nothing wrong with that, apart from the trigger thing. Goes to the upper. You can't really remove anything. You need everything is bolted down, which kind of make it nice. This is actually two pieces. And mark my words, Action Army is gonna launch aftermarket parts of this. And this guaranteed CNC part of the front section, for sure. This is basically just a tube. I will show you guys later. Which come with a metal thread, hopefully. Hop actually use two wheels, but it doesn't tell you which one is the one you use to make adjustment. And you can't see which side to increase or which side to decrease, because you can't remove the barrel to see it. You just guess. Nozzle is nice, but I will show you that later. One thing I hated about this, let's lock this on empty. This. For the first time I saw this thing was a semi only because I cannot, okay, not clicked, I cannot fucking change this easily. It hurts my finger just to push it. It's really inside there. Okay, so this pushes, I will show you in the disassembly. Okay, that's about the externals. Everything plastic but sturdy. Pretty light, for obvious reasons. With a magazine in, doesn't feel bad. I own the real steel version of the Ruger MK4, so I like the general shape of it. Move on to the internals. Okay, so this is the gun disassembled. I didn't want to waste you guys' time. This is the upper receiver. We can see that way. This actually kind of reminds me, the complete upper reminds me of a 22 caliber. Yeah, it's a 22 caliber gun. So this is entirely plastic. You have these two holes. That is, oh, I do like the fact you can have your magazine in and still remove your upper. So that's the two holes for the screws, locking. These two holes I don't really know what's for. It's nice it puts the insert here, but I will explain why pretty soon. Okay. This is a front barrel. Again, as I said, just a tube, mill this part out. The front side, however, does not have a metal insert, and I already do not remove it because I just removed it once. This one already stripped. Okay, so that's that. It just pushes in, but once we have the hole pop chamber, you actually have to put it like this, then turn, then push. Otherwise, the hole pop actually hits something on the inside. This is a rear side. You can see it actually has two much larger screws than the front one, and that reason is because the bolt carrier, actually this is more like bolt carrier instead of a slide, hits. This is what stops it from moving out. This part will lock onto the return spring guide, which goes here and goes inside the bolt carrier. The place here, the spring goes in here, and this thing stays here, and it just moves like this. Okay, so, and basically this is what stops the whole thing. So that's why they reinforced these two thread holes, which is nice. I don't see that durability issue. I will talk about why later. So first, bill of materials. Return spring, completely plastic. As long as they are good, I kind of like the flexibility. This would be the piece that stops the nozzle from flying out. It also has the spring, the return spring and nozzle, and these two screws, they bolt onto the, there are two holes in there, hard to see, yeah, right there. This thing goes there and just bolts onto that. Yeah. TM Glock type blowback piston. You have the flat part up. Interesting thing to say is Action Army did something very interesting here to reduce the blowback, the kick. You can see this nozzle is cut away here, so you basically blew out the air way before it gets stopped by this piece here. Just insert this thing. So before it gets stopped, the blowback travel is extremely short on this one. I will assemble this later. It's really, compared to let's say a high cap, it's really short, like 1 centimeter shorter on the blowback distance. And while this piece is very small, I drilled this one out, but I will show you the original one. While this looks small, it's not nowhere near light, okay? So on this piece here, just remove it real quick, and we can weight it on a scale. And we can compare it to a to a TM Glock with a plastic slide. Okay, this comes out and you can just slide it out. Okay, this is the part that moves. So this is a nozzle, and you can see it's really short travel. And this is a recoil spring. So I have my scale here, it's already calibrated. I put this in here. It weighs 100 grams. If on the other hand, this is a TM Glock with a plastic slide. Okay, I'm gonna remove the return spring because the return spring does not travel back with the gun itself, nor does the barrel. And this is a slide. This is a TM slide with a Guarder lightweight blowback housing. The housing shapes the weight compared to the original one. Is shaped probably to 20 grams of weight. But let's check how heavy this thing is. 67. So even if you with the original blowback housing, that is 20 grams heavier, it's still lighter than this thing alone. So this gun is not counting. The blowback is weak. It's not because this thing is light. It's weak because the short distance. It just exhausts air behind the nozzle sooner than the other cases. Like this one, you can see it longer. Yeah, even on the Glock. So this has more time to accelerate. Back to topic. Rest of the gun. Apart from that, I did like the design, and after all these holes I drilled, if I drill any more, I worry about this thing not working. I saved 15 grams. This right now, this thing together with nozzle and everything weighs 87 grams. Gonna start putting this back, just so you guys have an idea how this thing disassembles and assembles. Also, I know one thing that shocked people is how cheap this pistol is supposed to be. But at least at the moment, I got this gun from Red Wolf from Hong Kong. And their retail price is actually 79 when I bought it, US dollars. Then I paid 50 bucks worth of shipping to get here. So I bought two. So each gun actually cost me more than 100 USD. I can see just how short this thing accelerates. Okay, now comes to the firing selector issue. As I said, it's super hard to change because it does have a kind of clever way of changing that. People that have Glock know this piece. This is a full auto disengage, engage thing, depending on how you. Normally there is a spring on the Glock, this one doesn't. However, it does have this little knob in there, and this round thing just goes there, and by swivel, it just pushes from one side to the other, so you don't need a spring. I like the simplicity of it. However, on the other side, you can see there are two dents in there. Yeah, hard to get some light in here. Yeah, right there. So that's the click thing, the sound you get. And that actually matches this knob here, which I already cut off like halfway to make it click less. There is no spring or anything, it just counts on the flexibility of the plastic, which is kind of flexible. That's why I even have the cutout to make this more flexible. However, this is part that you push it, and when you push it, part of the force goes downwards inevitably. So that makes it actually, I'm not even putting a screw there, and I can already feel the resistance of moving this. That's the blowback housing. Okay, bolt carrier, whatever. Use a standard barrel to come with this aluminum barrel with coating. It's aluminum, by the way, I know the weight of it. Comes with the O-ring that actually stabilizes itself at the front of the outer barrel. It's nice, but that also means if you buy a out of the box replacement that doesn't have this groove, you would lose that effect. I have no idea if it's 603, 608, 601, probably just standard. This is a hole pop chamber. It's very sadly, I mean, this gun would be so easy to TDC, right? But they didn't do it. They just replaced it with the two wheels that from the outside you can't really tell what you're doing. The hole pop arm is pretty loose inside. You can see gap everywhere, but that's normal. Very nice that they included inserts here. This one goes into here. Okay, this one and this one, they tie to these two holes. I suppose they figured that would be a very frequent change for some people. And now with this thing out of the way, which would require you to remove these two screws, you would have it like this. You can actually see now it says hole pop, and this is the wheel you're supposed to use. Too bad you can't see it from the outside. It uses, kind of reminds me of the M4, older M4 chambers where you use a cock. I don't really know why they use a cock, but they do. I suppose it's more stable because they have more friction. That's fine by me. The bucking that comes with it, standard VSR bucking, like 99% of the GBBR pistols out there. So I would say that's the important part of this review. Now I'm going to compare this to a TM Glock and give you my personal opinion on whether this pistol is new, is something totally blew other pistol away, or is this just another gun? I mean, for starters, as any airsoft gun, out of the box, it just fell short. It just fell short on several categories. Trigger leaves something to be desired. The internals is not steel. On the Glock, I would say it's very important. They really break pretty easy. Blowback heavy is insanely heavy. They could have made this thing out of plastic with just a metal insert around this area that touches the trigger mechanism. Not really nice. It's It's smooth, but it's well defined, doesn't wobble much. That's good for consistency. I would consider the hole pop chamber leaves the most to be desired. I mean, you could have TDC it. I know some people doesn't like it because it requires tools. But from the other hand, if you start using, I don't know, R-hops or any others, these arms are really easy to cant to the side because you're pulling it from one side. And it's kind of sad that they went this way. Okay, let me see if I can put this back real quick. Yeah. Here, this wheel goes somewhere around here. This should be the minimum. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. So you just turn, I guess you're supposed to turn this one. It does have bigger tooth, but you just can't see it from the outside. You just put it in here. You rotate it, then push. Not being able to do it for some reason. Oh yeah, totally stupid. Yeah, as I said, you have to put it on an angle, then rotate it, put it in. You would need the screw there to hold it. The hole pop left a little bit to be desired. They could have put a metal insert. They didn't. So this is a gun for if they really do ended up retail this for 70, yes, go for it. But I can see why they did this. They did this because it's a cheap gun to get into. It works. I mean, so far it works. And they're gonna sell a ton of upgrade parts for it that corrects this problem. How long, I don't know. They have to launch a lightweight blowback housing. It's so promising, this thing. It's like you have a Glock, but only the blowback housing is moving. It's a really interesting concept, but they just butchered it. The fact that this piece weighs more than just easy to upgrade, textbook upgrade Glock. I mean, all I did here is I have a Hadron TDC, non-dropping barrel, and a lightweight blowback housing. And this thing kicks less than this gun already. It is more expensive though. It's a TM Glock. But I have more compatible parts and it's not exclusive. And I'm pretty sure for the next, at least for the next year, this thing is gonna be Action Army exclusive. And you just have to use their design for whatever it is. Regarding shooting, gonna use blue gas because that means doors. I don't really want that. Go deaf. This guy is kinda no ammo inside. I won't shoot inside the room. This guy is relatively quiet. I would say it's quieter than normal gas blowback pistols. Yeah, then again, you just can't pull it. It kicks less than your out of the box metal slide guns for sure. But it does kick. I will do the same. Yeah, just so nobody complains, I'm gonna refill this. I know it's not totally fair that this is not out of the box, but what I mean is, if you advertise it for the falls and all that, it's just, this is not a fantasy, okay? This is just a TM size that is smaller. You can see it kicks less, way less. good luck right now to change to full auto. Just, yeah. There we go. See, about the same. So if you, I mean, I like this pistol for the looks, that's one side. And I do like the fixed barrel. It's better fixed than a non-dropping barrel for sure. Yeah. I can also just drill a hole and TDC it if there is space for it. I'm kind of stuck to this, which is, as I said, very sad. Because on this I can have ton of lightweight blowback housing to use. This one I don't. Trigger is gonna last probably as much as any other mid-range Glocks, as long as it's not a WE. Probably something like a KJ. It's for the money right now. It's really cool. It's really cool, and it would be even cooler. It would be a killer if this thing was metal. If this thing was light, the thread. I mean, the thread is metal, and this is light, and with a chamber that is at least with a bit more info than just 2 wheels right there. I mean, then again, you could read the manual. I didn't. I doubt many of you do. Yeah, it's again, it fell short, but for the money, it's worth it. It's worth the money, even if it's $100. I would still say it's worth it. It got some really neat features that many other pistols doesn't have. But I'm also sure it's Action Army did this on purpose to make this into a just bottomless money hole that you just keep spending on whatever upgrades. They already come out something with some external stuff that I'm not really interested. I am interested metal outer barrel and a lightweight blowback housing. With that, this actually becomes a really good gun. It has some potential to be on the same level as, I'd say, maybe a really decked out high caliber race gun. Yeah. So thanks for watching.